Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel Mippy Makes ASMR. On this channel I do all things crafty but make it ASMR. So I mostly do knitting, crochet, sewing, those kind of things. So today I'm actually going to be doing some hand sewing for the first time, and we are going to do English paper piecing. So this is just a little example of what English paper piecing actually looks like. It is done completely by hand, and then this is the right side, and then when you see the wrong side it will look like this. So you do it with these little hexagon pieces of paper. It's a little bit of a thicker type of paper, more like similar to a cardstock. And then once all corners of a hexagon is assembled to another, like here in the center, you can actually just pop out the paper, so you have only the fabric. So you can see here that on the sides I cannot remove the paper yet because it's not completely encased with another fabric. And you sew these sides together by hand with a tiny stitch, so it is visible on the wrong side of the fabric here, but then when you see it from the right side of the fabric you're not supposed to really see anything. So if you've done it well, it's going to be pretty invisible. So you can make these beautiful flower motifs, but also other kinds of motifs. This just happens to be my personal favorite. And you can make this on a small scale or a larger scale, like a big blanket. This is typically referred to as a grandmother's flower garden quilt. There are a lot of vintage examples out there, and this is something that is definitely very popular back in the day. But yeah, it is still really beautiful. It just takes a lot of time to make an entire quilt. Eventually this one is actually going to be, I think, a quilt, but it's not a priority project of mine. I think this is gonna take me 10 years or something. Like, I'm not kidding. It's just it's a long-term project for sure, but I don't mind. It's just a fun hobby that sometimes I work on quite a bit, but for example now I haven't worked on this in a few months, and that's alright too. But I'm actually going to be making a quilted wall hanging for my office. So we're currently sitting at my desk. And basically for my main YouTube channel, I'm just trying to make everything a little bit more cute. So we also have like a little plant here, for example. Then I just got this on Vinted, which is this little swan. And I think it's actually also intended for like a flower pot or something, or like a plant. Right now I have all of my sewing pins in the side of it, but I'm planning to actually fill it up with some polyester filling, then like a fabric on top, and then I'm going to actually put off my pins properly inside, because right now it's kind of like hard to reach, like some are up with the pointy end. It's not very nice to grab one, so I'm actually going to have them all pinned properly. But for now I'm just using it like this because, you know, haven't had a chance to get started on this project, but it's a really cute little DIY project if you're crafty and you want a nice pin cushion. And I just think the swan is so adorable. I don't know, I think I'm going through a bird phase, even though I really don't like normal birds, but like ducks, swans and goose I really like for some reason. So you will definitely see that more, because I'm actually thinking about needing a cardigan with us like a goose on the back. So I hope to be able to get that started soon. But for now this one just lives over there on my desk. Anyways, we came here for the English paper piecing. Okay, so my hexagons are I think 2 inches from one of those corners towards the other one. So here I have pieces of fabric, like squares, that are 2.5 inch by 2.5 inch. So as you can see, once you've put those on, that should fit nicely. And then I do actually always just trim away some of those corners. But the first thing that I do, that is really nice to do actually, is to use some glue, like a glue stick that is temporary. So this is by a brand that is basically made for this, like for sewing. It's called Sew Line, and I bought this on Amazon. You can buy it in a bunch of different colors. Right now you can see that this one is blue, but for example here I also have one that's yellow. So you can buy these little refill packets that are crinkly plastic. So how this would work is that you take your glue stick, you just put some glue on the center. Doesn't have to be a lot, just, you know, a little dab. Then I will take my piece of fabric, unironed. Usually you would probably iron this, but I'm kind of lazy when it comes to English paper piecing. Then I will just put it on top, kind of fold it down, and then I will trim away those edges. You can see that it's already stuck quite nicely. So I will take my little mini scissors and just cut. And I like to leave less than a centimeter of seam allowance. I don't know what that is in inches, but like has to be pretty small, but also not too small because you're gonna fold it. Then I like to take the glue stick again, and then I will actually glue down the sides. So I will just go like this and fold that over, press it down, then go to the other side, and then press that down, and then you just work all around in that manner. It's pretty easy. And I do think this is like a very meditative craft because you do a lot of the things with your hands. Like it's a very slow form of sewing. You know, your machine is not involved. You can just cut these beforehand. And you can also do it probably like on holiday. I know a lot of people like to do English paper piecing because it's just one small box for me personally. And then that's basically all that you need. And then here we have our little finished hexagon all glued down. Then if you want to make it extra secure, you could also put on some sewing pins. Like if you're making multiple like this in advance, you could just put on some pins. But something that I like to do is actually just take that, then for example just put something heavy on it. So if I just put that down and put my plant on top, I know that's gonna like stick it down a little bit. So let's just make some more. I think we should make the center also. I'm gonna do that now. And then I will probably already show you how I sew them together, just because I don't want to make this video too long. Not because I don't want to, but I recently had a throat infection. That's why also one of the reasons why I haven't made a video in a while. And also just because I was quite busy. So yeah, it has been a really long time since I've made a video for my ASMR channel. Probably like 4 months or something crazy. But I can just tell that my voice does hurt a little bit when I have to whisper. Because I did read somewhere that whispering does like strain your voice more than just regular talking. So the upcoming videos are probably going to be a bit on the shorter end, but I figure it's better than not having a video. I actually hope to make a video every single week in the upcoming, I don't know, future. Just because I do really enjoy this channel, so I want to put more time to it. It's like a little bit of a hobby, more so than a job. whilst I do kind of try to consider my other YouTube channel a part of my job because I talk about patterns and I earn a little bit of money on there. But this one is just a free-for-all, so I can just do whatever. Yeah. And I did reach now 100 subscribers, so that's really exciting. And we'll see where I'm at the end of the year. I don't really have a particular goal for this channel. Like I said, I'm just doing this for fun. And just because I feel like the crafty community is like really missing out on ASMR, or like ASMR is missing out on crafty videos. Just feel like it's the perfect combination, but there aren't really any out there. And then the ones that I do see, they don't really include talking, which I think is strange. Like personally, I do prefer like a little bit of talking in the background. And I just think that's fun, like just crafting together, just nice and chatty. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna go and actually already assemble those pieces. Usually I would finish gluing all of them, then I would get to assembling, but for now, for the video's sake, I'm just gonna assemble these together. So what I would do is I would grab my center flower piece and then my actual petal, and I would just put them on top of each other, just like this. Then I actually have those sewing clips, you could use those. But I also have this little magnet. This is actually meant for like a closure piece. Like I work in a fabric store and this is just something that we sell. And I decided to get this because I just saw it and thought like that could be a pretty handy sewing tool for English paper piecing. So I do actually use this, and I just put that on top of each other, and I just find that it's a little bit less in the way as in contrast to these sewing clips. They're like bulging out. So yeah, now I can just put this down, get my thread ready. So this is the thread that I'm currently using. This is just the Gooderman all-purpose sewing thread, but the big spool, so it has 500 meters, which I really like. I'm using this like off-white cream color because I feel like it just disappears the most in like the majority of fabrics. And then the needles, it's not super exciting, but they are made for quilting. So they are these gold eye applique needles by Clover. And I do find that they work really well. They are super sharp. I read that for English paper piecing, I believe you want to use like a size 10 or 11, I believe. So I have a size 10 here. So we have 50 needles. Clover is actually one of my favorite brands for haberdashery. I just feel like they're really nice, much better than Prim. And they're really smart, like they just have some tools that really save the day. And I also love that these have the gold eye, it just looks really cute. And I think it probably helps with threading the needle as well, because of course a tiny needle does have usually a tiny eye as well. And usually you have to buy Clover over on Amazon as well. It's not very widely available in the Netherlands, sadly. And then I just knot it. I know there are also like methods to make better knots and things, but I'm pretty new to English paper piecing, so I haven't really tried any of those out. So I just do a weird little knot. So yeah. Then I will take those two pieces that we put on top of each other. Then I will insert my needle right through the tip of those two pieces on top of each other. And then this is gonna be difficult to see, but as you can kind of tell, I'm only grabbing like the tiniest bit of fabric. Like you really want to be right on the edge, so you don't really have like a seam allowance like you normally would with sewing. So I'll show you that again. I'll just go back to the other side, pin that through, and just grab a tiny piece of fabric So I'm not even really going through the paper. Usually, I guess. It's just a tiny piece of fabric. So I put them really close together. You could do less distance, but that of course will make it a little bit less secure. But it will also make it faster. So I think this is just something that you have to try out for yourself and see what you prefer. I guess I could make the stitches a bit bigger because this is gonna be for a wall hanging. So basically it doesn't have to be so secure. This also happens a lot, is that your thread will get tangled, which is really annoying. Don't think I'm gonna get that out of there, and I'm just gonna leave it. But that's fine. You don't have to be good at something to enjoy it. You just have to do it, basically. I kind of wanted to have this quilt done pretty fast because I really want to record my knitting podcast in front of it. But already I can tell that that's maybe not gonna happen because this is just so slow. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to either just finish it or record on a different day, or record and not have it. I don't know yet. I don't really know if I feel like filming in the first place. I don't know if I felt like filming an ASMR video, but tomorrow I have to go work my other job again, so I felt like I should just go get it done. I feel like February already is like not my month. Like even things that I enjoy, I just feel very lazy and like a bit gloomy, like there's a cloud hanging over your head. Well, there literally is a cloud hanging over my head because it's always cloudy. Even creativity wise, like I have a lot of plans and ideas, but just getting them out is a little bit of a struggle right now. I just don't wanna, don't feel like doing a lot of the things that I normally would. But I guess that's just a phase, and it's also normal. And I also read somewhere that a lot of people feel like that during this time of the year. Like if you're going through winter right now, of course some parts of the world are not in winter, but like everyone is gonna feel a little bit. So now I've actually reached the other end. I think I'm gonna do one more right through the little corners. Just like that. And then I will show you what this looks like. So I'm gonna remove this. Then fold it open, and you can see here that they're now sewn together. And you really don't see any of that stitching. They're pretty much invisible. And the cardstock is still nice and secure. So that is that. Then I will leave my thread attached and get the next flower petal ready. So I take my little cardboard hexagon, put a little bit of glue on there, and just press that down, and then we will cut around. I really hope there's not too much background in this video because I think the children are out, like playing outside, and they're very loud. So there's a lot of background noise of like screaming children. Yep. I don't really like children, actually. I know a lot of people like children, but I'm not one of those. Sadly. Well, I don't know, sadly. I don't know. It's not really good or bad, but I feel like you definitely kind of get judged when you say that you don't like children, because it's kind of like everyone seems to like children. It's like saying you don't like puppies, kind of. But I mean, I would be more weirded out if people said they didn't like puppies rather than if they didn't like children. I don't know, they're like gross and loud. I guess puppies are also kind of gross, but at least they don't talk, right? And they are so cute, and I don't know, it's different, and they're fluffy. And children, they're humans and they have their own mind and will, which they should. That's what they should have, but you know, often they want to do things that they shouldn't. And I don't know, I just also like the playfulness that you kind of need to have around children. I don't have that. I don't know how to contact them and like get on their level. Anyways, I'm gonna show you how I would now attach my next petal. You could do that on this side, you could do it on that side. Doesn't really matter, but I'm doing it on this side because that is where I have my thread still attached. So I will put it on top just like this, and then I will sew this little short edge, and then you will have to break the thread because it's impossible basically to sew like the entire edge right now. So it does involve generally a little bit of breaking and joining the thread, but I mean it runs out anyways eventually, right? And we're kind of repeating that process. So I'm just putting my needle from front to back through those tiny layers of fabric. And like I said, I'm doing quite a bit of bigger spacing than I normally would because it's gonna hang on the wall. So it's not something that's gonna be used. Like if this was gonna be an actual quilt, I just like to have it closer together because, you know, you want it to last. If you're spending so much time on it anyways, you might as well spend even more time on it. That's kind of like my mantra sometimes. A lot of people, I think, tend to do the opposite. Like they will have knit a cardigan and then just be sick and tired of it, and then they just don't want to do like an Italian bino, for example. But I feel like, you know, you're already there, like you already spent so much money and effort, you might as well go to the end and just finish it in a beautiful way or your preferred way, whatever that may be, rather than just, you know, trying to call it a day and finishing it just to have it finished, basically. I mean, I can definitely be a bit lazy sometimes. I'm not always in this mindset. It really depends also, I guess, on the project. But yeah. And then here I will make a few knots by just looping that needle back. So when you have, you know, that little loop, I just put my needle through it and then tug on it. And then I just repeat that like 3 times. And then we have the next petal attached. And in here you can see there's a little bit of spacing, but you can just push that close like this. It's gonna turn around right, like in the end. So we will just continue like this. I think I'm gonna do one more petal, and then we'll call it a day. Well, at least for the video. I will continue until the end is there. Because, I don't know, when I work on a project, I tend to really want to finish it like as quick as possible, just my excitement or something. I'm actually working also on a new crochet blanket. Perhaps I'll show that in the next video. And crochet is especially one where I just start and then never want to stop. Like the blanket just needs to be finished like right now, like yesterday it had to be done. Making a blanket is like 100 hours of work, so it's just not gonna be possible to try and squeeze that in a week, no matter how much you want it. So yeah, I'm gonna go and see when that's gonna happen, but I'm super excited for it. It's again a pattern by Janie Crow, because I absolutely love her patterns. Like if you crochet and you don't know her patterns, then you should definitely check them out, because I find them like really fun and intricate, but still they're like mindless enough that they're repetitive. Because there are some other crochet patterns that are so beautiful and gorgeous, but they're just so intricate that the whole process, I don't know, it's just not something that I really want to work on every single day, because I really have to take the pattern and really sit down, and they have like interesting techniques, which there's definitely a place for those patterns right now, or like in general, not right now, but I have to be in the right mindset for it. So here you can see how the next petal is gonna look, and now I'm actually gonna make 2 seams again. So I'm gonna sew this seam, and then we'll go up and attach the new flower petal. I think that's gonna be enough thread for both of them, so I'm just gonna use the same thread again and just make a new knot in it. I do think that anyone can do English paper piecing, like I said, but I do have to say that it's quite fiddly, like everything is quite small. So now how I will sew that seam is actually just fold this, and this is paper, so you can just fold that as well. And then take my magnets again and just put those on top. And then take my needle and insert it right through that corner point. Then just go all the way until we reach the end. I think I want to do a knit and chat video soon. That video was actually quite popular on my channel. I would love to know like what you think would be interesting to chat about. Like, I don't know, it could be basically anything, like from my personal life, but also creatively, work-wise, like whatever. I don't know. I'm not necessarily, I don't know how chatty I am of a person. I don't know if I can just sit down and chat to you for 30 minutes straight. I guess I am doing that now, kind of, whilst I'm doing this. But, you know, kind of depends on the day, maybe. Already, I think this flower is turning out so cute. I have actually quite a bit of fabric for quilts and patchwork things in general. And I think this year I really want to make like another full quilt. I'm kind of trying to reduce my fabric stash and really use up what I have. Although I'm currently actually pattern testing a new dress pattern, and I did buy some fabric for that because I don't know, I really wanted to do the pattern justice, and I felt like it needed a new fabric for that. But I am, well, that's my finger. But I am trying to kind of not have as much, basically. Then that is that seam closed up. Now let's do this one. I've not actually seen any other people use these little magnets, but as you can tell, I think they're really nice. So I would recommend. And it's really cheap, I don't know, like €1 or something. And maybe you're wondering if they're heavy because they're magnets, but they really aren't. I think it's because these are intended to be used for like a closure piece on clothing or like a bag, so they're very lightweight. Like, they're not comparable to a magnet that you would stick on a wall or a board or something, or like your fridge. I think those tend to be just heavier in general. I actually don't use a thimble when I'm hand sewing my quilts, but after a while, like, you can see your finger will start to get a little bit, well, hurt, because these sharp needles are really sharp, like both on the front but also on the back. So I do have like quite a collection of thimbles actually, but like sensory wise, like me and thimbles just don't go hand in hand, and I really do want to use them. Like, if I'm doing this for a longer time, I definitely need to, but I don't know, I just right now I can't do it. I I guess I could also put like a band-aid on my finger. I know some people do something like that. I think maybe that would be less annoying, but I mean, when I have when I need a band-aid on my finger, I also get annoyed by it. Like, I'm just very aware of the fact that it's there. I think sometimes I may have like, I don't know, slight autism in that sense, that I am quite a sensory person, and that's just an example of one of the things that I can't really stand. So I think, yeah, we can actually go and cut this thread as well. So I'm just gonna make a few knots again. That's one. And then two. And also you can see my needle's like bending because I do have to push them through a bit. Just cut that off. And then you can see our flower starting to take shape. I think these fabrics are gonna be so cute. The background is gonna be white, and then the petals of the flower are gonna be green. I'll insert a picture on the screen if you're interested of what like the finished result is gonna be. But yeah, there might be, I don't know if it's ever gonna be in the background of my ASMR videos, but it will for sure be on my main channel. So yeah, if you're also doing this, like I said in the beginning, do not remove the paper, just keep them there. You can remove the center paper once you've attached all the petals around, but for now just leave them there, and the glue, like you can see, should be pretty secure. So yeah, I'm gonna go and continue this flower and try and get my quilty wall hanging done so that I can finish my office space. Yes. I guess I could show you two little things that I did get for my little office makeover, in case you're interested. They're right here. I recently discovered that you can buy cute vintage items on Vinted, so I'm absolutely obsessed, and this is one of the items that I got. It was actually a set of two, so I do have another one, and they are very heavy, like metal. I think they're like just gold painted, like it's definitely not anything fancy, especially like the back kind of just looks yellow. But you can just hang this on the wall on this little ring, and then you can put something on here. I'm just planning on putting a candle on it, probably like a regular candle. I do have like a scented candle here. Would that fit? Nope, does not fit. Needs to be pretty small, but you could also do just like a tea light or something. I probably will not ever put them on, but it's mostly just decorative, and I just think the little bow detail at the top is just so cute. I really like bows. I actually have a bow tattooed on my arm because I think they're really cute, and I don't know, they just feel like me. So that is one thing that I got on Vinted for my little home makeover. And for some reason I'm going through a butter yellow phase again. I think I was also going through a butter yellow phase exactly around this time last year, so it might be like my annual thing that I'm gonna go through a butter yellow phase. But I got this little towel, like a square towel from Sustainable Grena, and it has this lemon on it, and I think it looks so cute and like handmade, even though obviously it isn't handmade. So I bought this yesterday, paid €4.40 for it. They always have the strangest prices, but they are super affordable. then it has this little hook that you can hang it on. So it's gonna hang on the wall, like near my little bow candle holder. And then I'll probably add some handmade pieces, so maybe like a embroidery thing or like a crochet. I was looking at maybe doing a crochet filet crochet tapestry, but like super small, so with like lace weight or fingering weight yarn, just to bring another like handmade touch to it. Probably just like a white or something, because both of these pieces are going to hang on my pink wall. So yeah, here you can kind of see my vision, I guess, for my office makeover. It is very pastel themed, cutesy, and vintage inspired. So I think that is it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed doing just a little bit of English paper piecing with me. Perhaps this will lead you to finding a new hobby, and yeah, I would recommend because it's quite affordable and very enjoyable. For now, I wish you a very happy day with a lot of crafty time, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye and sleep.